Perfect.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's good, everybody doing out there, man? It's Friday. I'm back at it. Had to take a week off, man, on Talk Pro Wrestling, but yo, the weekend is upon us. Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners all across the world, wherever you may be at. There's tuning in, joining me and my awesome guest, man, that's joining me this week. My pal, my bro from another mother, my brother from Commission, Warren Marlowe is going to be joining me here, man. Cheers, Blackheart. I know you probably tuned in. It's like, man, you guys, man, are doing an episode without me. Yo, man, how this just came up was just real interesting. But yo, this is gonna be a dope one. If you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, like, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, we're gonna get into the show. It's time to talk some pro wrestling. Man, it's 2/3 of the commission here. Blackheart is not joining us this week on this episode. Like I said, I just came about. It's very interesting though. But Warren, man, what's going on with you, my guy?
What up, bro? It was probably like a 5-minute setup, basically. So it was obviously I tried to get somebody else on here before us. You know, stuff happens, life happens, but hey, shit, we still love you. We'll probably be doing this again next week.
yeah, we sure will. We sure will, man. We sure will be doing this next week, man. But yeah, man. Hey, look here, like you said, you try to help somebody. I try to help somebody out here on the podcast to chat about wrestling, though. But before we, chat about everything that wrestling wise, though, the match that you sent me, man, I definitely really enjoyed it because I was on the edge of my seat. The crowd was loving it, though, for real. He went for the crossbody.
That was the first time I ever did a crossbody.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, you look like you weren't nervous about it at all, though. It was right on point and everything. Right on point. Everything.
The mask helps it.
Yes, I heard somebody say that. I heard somebody say that one time, though, because they were so nervous, or that they, I think you said it, that you were making so many face expressions that you had to wear the mask. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I mean, it's like with the character. When I put that mask on, I just felt like you couldn't see any expressions. You couldn't see my nervousness. Like I used to really be bad on shaking, and for some weird reason, man, when I put that mask on, it was like balls to the wall. Let's go. And that might be another reason why I only did 6 years of it, because I literally went balls to the wall. But after that, hey. But yeah, man, that match was definitely something fun. That was my first title match in my hometown. That area that I showed that venue was actually my high school that I was at. So that was a very big, meaningful match for me, for sure.
Hey, that's what's up.
And the crowd was so loud, we could not even talk in the ring. Let's just put it that way.
I could tell, man. They were really excited about it, though. And, it seems, though, mass wrestlers always get a lot of fans behind them too, because it's that mysterious, and obviously sometimes they could be a high flyer or they could be versatile, whatever the case may be. But yeah, definitely mass wrestlers definitely get a whole lot of love, man. It's
definitely a lot different than what wrestling was portrayed a long time ago, because mass wrestlers, and I've said it numerous times, that's why I did not believe I was a mass wrestler for a while, was because I'm not 160 pounds. I'm almost 200 pounds. And literally when they would look at you right off the rip, like when they used to watch my videos, they were amazed at how big I actually was when they would see me in person. And they were like, oh man, I don't know if we can do a cruiserweight match with you now. Like, so it was like, literally, it was just, they were like looking at the cameras like, okay, so this is a very good sized wrestler, and he has a good look and everything like that. So I'm just glad mass wrestling is not only portrayed as the small guys that do all the flippy dippy stuff now. You can do any type of way. Like, in my eyes, a mass character is like a damn superhero. Like I've all said it numerous times. American Prodigy was my Superman. I didn't like being Clark Kent for a long time. Now I'm happy both ways. But I mean, it's just great to see that different portrayal for a masked wrestler nowadays.
I think with the mask, with you wearing the mask, it actually helps you, uh, do things and find out what
Hmm
you like to do. What you're comfortable with, also. Because like you
I
said,
wish I
you
wish they would have had a video of watching my family's reaction when I was on that top rope, because like I said, that was the first time I
yeah.
ever done it, and I didn't even say I was doing anything. Like, so I remember I got a text message from my wife. She texts me. She goes, "Are you backstage? Like, I don't think you're that guy today." Like, and the craziest thing is, because I had this tattoo, I always had to wear a sleeve also. So I made it very easy to not be able to like find out if it was me, because I had my tattoo covered. I made sure every little spot was. If people don't know, I have a nice sized nose, so literally cover that sucker up as much as I could. Um, the chants I used to get were hilarious. Oh my gosh! I think the funniest one is someone really thought I was Spider Man into Captain America form. It was pretty
Spider
great.
Man into Captain America form.
I
Okay.
kind of love that one.
Oh man. I mean, with the mask that I seen in the match though, you can sort of get a little Spider Man out of it though. And the whole
Oh yeah.
colorful white, red, white, and blue with the Captain America. But yeah,
I'm sure
that's
Shiz
dope.
would have had a field day with that one. That's for damn
He
sure.
would have. He would have. Hey yo, that was dope. That was dope. Hey yo, man, we gonna chat about man, everything that's going down in wrestling, man. You have something you wanna that been catching your eye, man, before I chat on to some things
Yeah,
that
I
I
mean,
want to
I
discuss.
mean, we talked a good amount out of it on Commission Talks
Yeah.
recently on Wednesday,
Yes.
and I mean, I'm just very happy to see what's portraying right now. I mean, I mean, we covered a hell of a lot on Wednesday, but literally, it's just good as a wrestling fan as a whole. Like, wrestling is so expanded now. Like, we're getting aired now, New Japan wrestling. Everybody portrays me, and I'm pretty sure everybody used to think like I'm against AEW. No, I'm not. I want it to succeed, but I want it to succeed in a very valuable way. When I say a valuable way, you ain't got to knock off WWE on the '90s, like, and then y'all are gonna sit here and say, "Oh, they're doing it for real wrestling fans." I'm like, bro, they're doing it as an entertaining aspect, just as every wrestling promotion. That's why
Yeah.
it's so hard to watch New Japan unless you are a true wrestling fan, because New Japan wrestling, they don't understand the characteristics of a driven wrestler. They just know it as they're doing so much moves. Like, literally, oh, I mean, I'm not knocking anything, but in New Japan wrestling, you're gonna get a lot of stiff hits, not a lot of protection on the neck or the head.
Hmm.
I mean, that is actually against their rules. If you do not get landed on your head, that's disrespect to them. And I'm glad that's kind of narrowed down a lot lately. I don't think they do pile drivers after pile drivers like they used to. Um,
Hmm.
they used to get so much abrasive, I couldn't even watch it for a little bit. I'm just like, I don't know about this.
Man,
Like,
New Japan is a never New Japan wrestling. When you're watching that, that's a never ending wrestling match right there, man.
And the thing is, they used to really hate people in the United States that go and wrestle over there. Like, if we
Mm,
watch some old matches, Hulk Hogan, um, Piper, guys like this, like when they went over
yeah,
to New Japan, these guys really tried to hurt them.
yeah, it's rough.
Um, you remember the video I sent y'all in the commission group chat where it was Scott Hall. Scott Hall was facing this guy in New Japan, and he was just working as a true heel.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
supposed to be the
yeah.
baby face. He was supposed to be the baby face, and he's sitting there pushing this guy because the guy really did try to hurt Scott Hall. And Scott Hall was just like, not today, buddy. Not today. And
Yeah,
it's like, it's so cool to actually now you get to see New Japan wrestling inside of the United States. That's one
mm,
reason why the production aspect of wrestling as a whole now, you can watch stuff on the independent circuit and it still look presentable to put on TV and stuff like that. Like, it's really cool to be a wrestling fan. And it's also really scary to be a wrestling fan nowadays, just because if it's not what you want, oh, screw this. They're burying this guy. They're doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how many times we can have that conversation?
Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling for me is definitely for the hardcore wrestling fans. I'll sit and watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, which majority of the guys I don't really know, but some I do because of places they were at, but I don't really
Yeah.
follow much of it. But I like it, I really do, and I
Watch
think
some old Ultimo Warrior. Ultimo Dragon
yeah,
matches
yeah.
out there,
So
bro.
yeah, and
Oof.
I seen some of his and some others old school matches in New Japan. Really, really dope matches though. But I think a lot of wrestling fans crap onto other wrestling promotions, or better say, you crap on WWE because
Hmm.
it's not.
It's just because
It's
it's cool now. It's cool to do
yeah,
it
it's
now.
cool, but it's entertainment. And I seen someone was just saying that, man, yo, all wrestling, every
It's
wrestling is
entertainment.
entertainment. It's all entertainment. You get the AEW marks, you get them fans because then I give it to AEW. One thing I do love about AEW that WWE does not do on a regular basis though. And I'm pretty sure it's a method behind it though, but I notice when AEW always comes on, they always start with a wrestling match. Get the fans warmed up, jabbed up for the next
Yes.
segment.
There's been a couple of times they've had Paige start out with promos in.
Yeah, but more
I don't
often
like
than
him
not,
as a promo guy.
you see, yeah, Paige has kind of like been falling off, but more often than not, they start Dynamite with a matchup,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they do that to counter or to kind of like go against WWE because every show they starting off with at least a 10, 15, 20 minute promo, and
Yeah.
it's all about telling the story, moving it to the next level or whatnot. But I think that's what a lot of AEW fans get off on. It's just oh man, this is wrestling here, and we're not getting people. I don't know, but like you said,
So
it's a
I want to ask you a question though, because I think we've covered it on Commission Talks, and I got
mhm.
Shiz's outtake on it. What do you see in AEW that really catches your eyes compared to what catches your eyes in any other wrestling that you watch?
AEW. What AEW does that catches my eye it's the audience. I believe. I think that's what it mostly is. It's not the glitz. It's not the glamour.
No.
It's not really the wrestlers neither, because half of them were in WWE before, and
And that's the craziest thing. Like when we first talked about AEW, Cody, Jericho, actually Jericho out of all of them, because really nobody wanted really caught any eyes onto that product until Jericho signed. Because
mhm.
I mean, if we really want to be real, like Jericho brought representation to go watch it, New Japan, when he went and go face Kenny Omega. Because I'm gonna be blunt, I've heard of Kenny Omega, I've heard of his matches, I watched the Bucks matches numerous times and I got bored watching them. I'm gonna honestly say it. I just could not stand watching somebody try to super kick somebody so many damn times. And like
Yeah.
that part, and I was just like, man, they're a bunch of spot monkeys. And
Mhm.
I get heat thrown at me all the time.
Yeah.
You don't like the Young Bucks and you call yourself a wrestler? Like,
Yeah. It's
I
it,
mean,
it is
it's
a
just
whole
not what
it,
I like.
yeah, it is a whole lot of spots in it, and I don't want to just say like it's just the fans that were. It's the atmosphere. I was at the first
Yeah.
Dynamite here in DC, and it was just the atmosphere. Like I never felt like that before, and just even watching it, like the crowd is into it, like they are really into
Hmm.
it. But don't get me wrong, for WWE, they are into it too. But I think it depends on what town they are.
It's like a ride.
Yeah.
Say like a theme park. Your first time going to a theme park, it's gonna be amazing because you're
Hmm.
not used to it.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to a say like now you go into WWE, you've been to Universal 8, 9, 10, 11 times. There's only so many times you're gonna get excited to ride the Spider-Man ride. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just those little things, and I think AEW is like how fans saw John Cena. John Cena as an underdog, you could not Cena couldn't be touched as a fan base wise. He was literally the newer Hulk Hogan. But when he got successful and became the big guy, fans did not like that anymore because now he watered down his character himself because he sat here and told you he's like, I'm 40 years old it's not gonna make any sense for me to be rocking jerseys and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's overdone. Like, it's just not gonna work. And fans ate that up and got upset about it. Like, these are the little things. Now, one thing I'll say about AEW that's caught my eye is it's like watching an independent show, and
That's what I
it's
hear.
like a higher platform show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys like Sammy Guevara. I've seen him outside of AEW before he signed with AEW, and I've seen how much he's adapted as a wrestler, and it's been great. Now I feel like he's gotten too hardcore again, like ladder matches, and I feel like he doesn't know how to do a ladder match without him just jumping off the ladder every freaking spot of the match now. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really bad storytelling, in my opinion. If you're gonna tell a story with a prop, angle it in, tease it a little bit. Don't just instantly give it to us every single time. Like like how we say about soda. Like I use an example of soda so many times. When I was little, I loved soda. I absolutely
Mm-hmm.
loved it. But when I moved out and lived on my own, I absolutely barely ever drink soda now because I drink it so much I don't like it anymore. Like, these are the things that I see with wrestling now, and fans see it as like I said about soda. WWE has been that taste for how long? It's
Yeah.
been forever, and now you're getting the Pepsi Wild Cherry, the Pepsi Zero, the Pepsi Vanilla, and all this different options.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna want to try that.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna want to try that soda, and it's gonna taste good at first because you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't expect that flavor.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's something new.
I feel what you're saying. I definitely do because when AEW first came out and me growing up watching wrestling and start in the late '90s, WCW was just fading off. They had about like
Hmm.
2 years left. I think ECW just had wrapped their doors up by WWE buying them, and or and I was just a WWF guy, so I really didn't watch any promotions. So to now come find out I watched Impact back in 2000 or TNA when it was TNA back in 2011 with the
Hmm.
whole Aces and Eights storyline, which I was a fan of. Not too
It
many
was
were.
so long, man. I really
Yeah,
wish they did not kill that story like they did, because I really watched TNA just to see what the
uh,
storyline with that
yes,
was.
yes, and that was cool for me when I started watching Impact. But then, like, okay, now we got something that's up here trying to rival
Hmm.
against WWE, and it's they bring in big stars in, and they on a big TV platform, and okay,
I
cool.
thought TNA had a better platform than what AEW's production standpoint is now, because I mean, you're seeing guys like Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. I mean, Mick Foley's still wrestling. Like, I was watching these, and I'm like, I thought these guys weren't wrestling anymore. And then I watched this. I'm seeing Christian as a champion. Like, you don't see that often. And I saw Jeff Hardy turning as Willow. Never even knew of that. Like,
Yeah.
these things, and I'm looking, I'm like, you know, it might have went over in WWE. Like, I really wish Matt Hardy would not have got a hard on for that broken gimmick and thinking that was gonna go over in
Yeah, but
WWE. Like,
that took off on his own, when he was doing that independently and that whole delete thing. A lot of people didn't like it, but I didn't understand what it was. It took off, but then the
that's
whole
like that's
Willow,
like I would say like Bubba Ray. Like, Bubba Ray really thought the Bully Ray gimmick could have went over
did
in
you
WWE.
did you like the Billy Ray gimmick?
I did for the Aces and Eight story. Yes. Like, the thing that he did with Brooke Hogan and stuff, glorious.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that was the best, like, expression wise I've ever seen Bubba in a match.
I was a fan. I thought at that
I
time
thought it
people
would
looked
go
at
over in WWE, but
yeah, I
with the
did
Boys and
too.
Girls Club and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
and the whole
it could
PG.
have offended that story.
Yeah, and I thought that was his best character. And at that time,
Hmm.
I was like, man, Bully Ray is kind of like the hottest guy right now, as far as a heel goes. I thought he was, doing his damn thing. The whole thing with,
With
aces and
Sting,
eights
Kurt
and
Angle, and all of them,
all
and
of it,
like, I
all of it.
love that story.
I was a
I
fan
loved
of
it.
it. I was a fan of it, but a lot of people was like, yeah, this was NWO 2.0 and how they just started adding members in and members in and members in.
It did kind of look like that, because it felt like, because you knew for a fact you were only invested into that Aces and Eight story, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, damn, like, when are they gonna get their shine back? When's the babyface gonna get to go over on the Aces and Eights? And I
Yeah.
mean, the best. the best thing I watched when it came to that storyline is when AJ Styles came out. And he came out with that dark character,
Yeah,
walked
I remember.
slowly down past Bully Ray, and then his original song, which I wish so badly AJ could have got that song to go to WWE, because that was one of my favorite ones. Get Ready to Fly, and when
Yeah, I
he
think I know.
flopped his jacket up, the hood popped
Yeah.
off, and he just like the crowd just lost it. Like I
Mhm.
was just like,
I
bro,
do
if he could
remember
have brought
that.
that character back.
Yeah, I do
Like, oh
remember
my
that.
gosh, man, that was my favorite moments of, because I watched AJ. I watched AJ when he was in I think it was at a basketball gym. I think it was a basketball gym somewhere in Georgia, and we watched him, and he got to go against Tyler Black, and which we all know that's Seth Rollins now. And man, that was such a damn good match. And I sat there and watched AJ, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can do this, because I wasn't that much big. I wasn't that much big, but I was like, my size for basketball, I could probably grow up to like that, because I'm looking at AJ. Like that was what the idea of my character was. And they were like, nah, you don't need to do biker shorts. You need to do like long tights. Do like a
Yeah, yeah.
Shawn Michaels meets Rey Mysterio, just a little bit bigger version of Rey Mysterio, and that's how actually my character came together, was from that. And then they like fed me in. They're like, "Hey, you like Power Rangers, right? Put your hands together. There you go. It's morphin' time," type scenario. And I was like, man, if we could actually got a video made for that, it would have made it even cooler for the fans like that. So like AJ was like my dude for so long, and I literally was just like how a kid would watch sports. If you were a Tom Brady fan, you were going to go wherever Tom Brady was. That's how I was with AJ.
Mhm.
And that's the only reason why I started watching New Japan, was because of AJ Styles. Like these guys that you had to see on a bigger platform had to go over to these smaller, the little brothers basically, to get them that representation. And I just love, as a wrestling as a whole now, you have so many opportunities to watch these guys grow. And I mean, it's a hit or a miss. Like I was saying about AEW, man, it's like one great show, and for me that has been in the ring and watched this stuff now, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it looks so fake to me. Regardless of what we sit here and say, wrestling's fake in general, I'm just looking at them like, that move didn't even make no sense. Like they
Yeah.
didn't even tie up. Like this is not making no sense to me as a wrestling match. You're doing 9 different flip spots and you're ducking it, missing it. I'm like, it's just not the US type wrestling style that we need to watch. I'm not saying, hey, it's bad to watch just this style. No, but you need to change it up. And I feel like every match that has been on those cards, it's a hit or a miss. Like some of them are literally the same match 4 times in a row. I'm just like, bro,
Yeah.
give me something different.
Yeah, they definitely gotta switch it up as far as AEW though, and that's what I was thinking too with the match you showed me, and I was like, I wonder what was the matchup prior, and also the match afterwards, because you guys didn't do too much any suicide dives or
We were the only match that
you
worked
know.
outside.
You see, that was dope. That was dope. And I like how we talk about on the podcast, just be different from the previous match and also the next match though. We're gonna get back onto AEW in just a bit. We've seen 2 returns that we've seen 2 superstars that made their return this week on WWE television. Asuka and Ali. What was your thoughts on Asuka? Because that was a long-awaited return.
Long
And
overdue. I mean, how many times did we sit here and say Asuka's coming back at Raw?
Yes,
Asuka's
yes.
gonna do this. Like you were so dead set on
Yes,
that one,
I was
more
set.
than me and you sitting there filling into that Rock segment into Survivor Series.
I was
Like,
when I heard her music for some, I heard her music, and this one for both of them.
it's the best timing too. I think it's the best timing because Becky was the last person that gave Asuka her title.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Asuka,
and now
this is yours.
And now she doesn't have a title. I thought that was perfect.
It's gonna get Asuka. It's gonna get Asuka so over as a babyface.
Yeah,
which I still wish Asuka was a heel. Asuka works fantastic as a heel. It's just that style that she works. It goes over as a heel, but as a babyface, man, Asuka is really adept. I mean, if she could just get on that mic skill. Oh my gosh, the mic skills is Nobody's ready for Asuka. I mean, that's all you need to
I thought
hear.
that, yeah, but I was like, I thought she was gonna say something, else. That's kind of like 2000 what
The
17,
craziest thing, she
18.
has her own YouTube show where she shows her actual personality.
Oh, that's
So,
cool. That's
like,
cool. I might need to tap into that. I need to check that out.
yeah, she talks about Pokemon and all that stuff. Like, she could speak very fluent English.
Mm.
Like, that's the part I'm like, hold up, you just ruined yourself. You
that's
now
that's
know
kind
you
of
could go on a microphone.
man. When I heard both of their music, when I heard Oscar, I was like, oh wow, Oscar's back. And then Ali, I think Ali was the one. Mustafa Ali was the one who just shocked me because I think
I think he's about to get a pretty decent baby face run. I think
I,
it's
I,
about
I
that
wanna
time.
I wanna say that though, but shout out to my guy Blackheart because we said this though. We said I feel like they're gonna continue to sucker him up, give him the
don't
wins,
don't
and then
feed
they're
into
gonna
Shiz's
and
ordeals now. Don't feed into that now.
but look, I said, but I think they're gonna release him, and they're gonna still release him. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, we just gonna we ain't gonna release
I
you when you
think
want
it.
to,
I honestly
and
believe it, bro. I think it was just working the crowd. If
you think
he's
so?
on that show now, I think it's him just working the crowd. He knows he's got fans behind him.
Yeah,
It's
he
just
do.
like what we said about the Iconics.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I didn't believe that it was a true thing. Like, I wanted y'all's opinion because I wanted to see, hey, do y'all believe it's a work or do y'all believe it's a
I
real
mean,
thing?
see, I didn't know what to believe because I know Ali always, every time I saw him on WWE's The Bump, he always stood up for what he believed in. He
If
always stood up
Kofi didn't
for,
ball out in that elimination chamber match, Ali would have still been your guy.
yeah, but WWE had the chance to still make that a thing. Even when they were both on the same show, even when Ali was supposed to be the guy who was hacking SmackDown or whatnot like that, like they had an opportunity. They had an opportunity, but they didn't do it though. But Ali stands by what he believes in, and now
There's a
these
show coming up in Saudi Arabia or something like that. I'm very sure Ali's going to get a push. I mean, that's not being abrasive to it. I mean, it's just facts.
yeah,
Like, you do
yeah.
need somebody to have representation from the overseas area that you're going to be in.
But that's what they got Mansoor for. But I feel like
You want
Ali.
more than one, though, don't you
Yeah,
want more than one? It's
yeah,
not.
you're right.
It's like an ice cream, bro. Like, do you all like literally if you have like a chocolate ice cream? Are you gonna want a caramel? You're gonna want a vanilla. You're gonna want a different option with it. So if you keep saying like you just had Mansoor, like how you just said, they're gonna feed into that and be going, "Hey, why is he the only one there? Why is he the only one representing us? Like
Yeah.
we got talent here. Like that
Mm-hmm.
area up there, they're not even allowed to have pro wrestling. Like they're not allowed to have independent wrestling or stuff like that. I had a guy on my Instagram that we talk regularly, and he wants me to speak up for them in this council thing for them to actually get a license to be a wrestling promotion. Like it is against their area to
Mm-hmm.
have a wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
So WWE is the only way they can do wrestling
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like Ali didn't want to do the stereotype thing though, just because he was from Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia. Don't stick me
I
with
mean,
the guy
look at
who's
his
from
character.
Saudi
His
Arabia.
character is so much different. You wouldn't even know he's from that area.
Yeah,
Like you can look at him, but just the wrestling style that he has, you're looking at him like, damn, he could really. Honestly, if he became a mass wrestler, nobody would know what ethic he's in.
it's just like I think Angel Gaza. I
Yeah.
want to say Angel Gaza said this, but I'm not sure. Every Hispanic guy is not the next Eddie Guerrero. So
Yes.
just
Yes.
because you are the same ethnic background, don't mean you got to stick me with that. You feel me? Like just because we all black, don't mean we all got to be in a black group. Like you feel me? I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's crazy. So I feel like Ali wanted something different and feel like he was, better. So I don't know. I don't know to believe it was a work or whatever the case was.
I
I'm glad he back though. I
I
just say that.
I mean, for him to still be on TV, there has to be something that they settled an agreement to.
Yeah.
Because did he get buried on Raw? That's the biggest question. Did he get buried on Raw?
And he beat a former WWE champion in the
That's what I'm
Miz.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if that tells you right there, because if he was getting released and if he was literally on his way out, he wouldn't have won that match.
But I understand that. But look what WWE was doing with Aleister Black 3 weeks up until he got released. Like he just came on TV.
I mean, I think Aleister Black, like, hey, you want to do the storyline, get them whatever you want. And I think, honestly, he did something to where he could come back. Like, he did not leave on bad terms.
Oh, no. Yeah, most definitely. He didn't leave on bad terms, though. But I'm just saying, though, like, it was just so wild. Like, he was just revamping his character. And
you could tell Triple H really carried him on this one. Like, I think Triple H took care of him to say, like,
Big E,
I mean, you tagged Big E.
And he was
you tagged Big E.
So, like, hey, I don't know. So it's and that's where you get some people who's like, I can't get too invested in this person. It's a superstar who's Uber NXT. I cannot think of her name right now, but she's the new Impact Women's Champion right now.
You talking about Deonna Purrazzo?
No. She's the Ring of Honor World's Champion.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh man, cannot think of her name right now, man.
She's an NXT Women's Champion?
No, she's the Impact right now.
Impact.
She's the new Impact Women's Champion. She just beat Deonna Purrazzo. They fought. Did they fight at Rebellion? I'm not sure. I can't think of her name is, man. But I was so sad because when she came in, she never made it to the main roster. Oh man, when I think of her name, I'm gonna definitely tell you though. But yeah, it was just so sad.
Anybody knows? Just put the comment right there. Put it in there for us.
Oh man,
feed it into us.
What I want to say is Valerie. I can't think of her. I can't.
Oh, you're talking about the girl that did a character like she was way better than everybody.
She was her song was Bougie Bad and NXT or whatnot. Yeah, and she never in her post when she commented when she got released, and it was just like, wow, like I was here for a hot second, never got up to the main roster, never even left NXT, and I'm gone. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I'm still a fan at heart. I'm still going to enjoy, but it's like you just don't know.
It's just like a resume now, bro. Like if something don't work, you go back to the drawing boards, rewrite your game, change it up, get yourself work. Like when we talked about it on Commission Talks, I think the best way to put it is now, like I said from the beginning, wrestling now as a whole, you can go find out your true test. You can go find out, do you really belong? If you go in, put the work in, and you go back to square one, because back then wrestling in the 90s and stuff like that, if you went back to the indies, it's really hard to come back. Mm-hmm. Like literally, you're basically deteriorated. Like it's really hard to come back. Yeah. And I mean, seeing guys like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was really, really tall. I mean, Vince McMahon approached and announced that he was going to be a future world champion. And Lord only know how long it took him. But hey, it's like Christmas. Eventually, he got that Turbo Man doll. Like it's just like those things. It builds you back up. Like the end game is, you want to go to the big dance. You want to see, do you really match up to that caliber? Like, I mean, I give an example like Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi, when he did that, was it the Cruiserweight Challenge, I think?
Yeah, the Cruiserweight Challenge or whatever it was.
He would have easily won that competition if he signed with WWE. He wanted to do something to get his name platformed on a bigger audience standpoint.
Yeah, but it don't seem like WWE got big faith in like Korean or Japanese guys though. It's like
it's because of the style. Vince is like how I see wrestling, bro. He wants to see the tie-ups. He wants to see the slower paced matches. Like we talk about, you got to know your audience. Like I had this argument with the guy off of Shiz's group, Tyler, the young guy. I call him Kid and Play now. He grew up watching New Japan wrestling, so he's used to that fast-paced, 30-minute squaffle matches, like back and forth, nonstop. It's like watching a damn tennis match. Like guys like you and me, it's cool to watch differently. Like it's cool to watch 1 or 2 matches. We can't watch a whole match card like that because we're just sitting there like, all right, man. Like, I've watched you do 5 backflips. I've watched you do 2 drop kicks, and you're not even getting a 1 count. Like, what's going on? Like, you're deteriorating the move set. And like you told me about the match I sent you, like, man, you were going for that code breaker a good amount because I was telling a story. If I hit you with that code breaker, that's it, lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could have done easily, all right, I go for the code breaker, boom, I keep hitting it, boom, boom. And then it just doesn't make it meaningful anymore because you've used it so much, the crowd's going to look at it and go, he hit him finally. Okay, that's the 6th match. I really hope you win this one, or I'm really just going to boo you out of the building. Like, it's just these things that make that move matter. I joke about it like wrestling is a violent soap opera. You telling a story, not by your words. You're telling a story by your body, your movements, and stuff like that. So say like, I would say a guy like MJF. He's gotten so much better in the ring. When I first watched MJF, I really said, you're all talk and no good wrestling. And I've seen this guy adapt to the wrestling. And it's not because he's going fast paced with anybody. He's moving on his own pace. He is telling a story. If he's got your wrist, he's telling a story with that wrist. He's going to show something that affected your wrist that entire match. And it might affect you on your finisher or a ease up move or something like that. Like, he tells a story with that. That is the thing I wish wrestling could come back towards and be a gimmick standpoint as well. Because, I mean, we shoot NXT 2.0 enough, but they are characters now. They are showing that there is wrestling characters. Like, I use the example, Shiz might get mad about Ezekiel. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm definitely cropping out that episode, and he gets so mad. And but it's something new. You know this true story on it, but it's entertaining because the crowd is invested into it. Like, you got some of these kids really believing that that's not Elias. Like, it's just these things that is telling the story to it. And with Kevin Owens, if you have a great dance partner, guess what? You can't go wrong. Sami Zayn, when he wrestled, I mean, I'm not even saying wrestling. When he did a match with Johnny Knoxville, it wasn't the wrestling match you expected, but it was entertaining because guess what? It was something different. Now, if you got a whole show based off of that match that you saw at WrestleMania, you would have literally shitted on this thing and said, absolutely, I'll never watch this again. Like, this is the most dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's something different. Like, you got to change it up. Something has to be different every different match. And it could have 2 matches the same, but you have something that tells it differently. That's the thing. That's one thing that independent wrestling used to get shunned upon so much, is because, oh man, you could just tell they're trying to steal the show, not caring about the time limit, doing everything in the kitchen sink. So when it's time for the next match, the crowd is going to be completely exhausted and they're not going to know what to do. Like, that is things that I've noticed with wrestling now, is just, you got to get that pace up. You got to change that pace up. And I really miss gimmicks. I really do miss the gimmicks.
Yeah, that's what we was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago when my guy Kofi Weekston stepped in, and he was talking about how he was getting back into NXT because NXT is bringing back gimmicks. So yeah, definitely gimmicks are definitely missed. I gotta ask you a question also, man. Becky Lynch.
Bro.
Becky Lynch said something on social media this past week.
You're going to get the heat seeker at me, huh?
Had a couple of people riled up or whatnot like that. But, Becky Lynch says, yo, man, we're better than all the women in AEW. Hands down, there's really no, competition or whatnot like that. Some people say, man, it's not even fair. WWE don't really have a women's division, in AEW only been around 2 years. So it's not really fair. But, Warren, I ask you, do Becky got a point, or is it really fair, to compare WWE's women's division up against a 2-year, almost a 2.5-year women's roster in AEW?
I mean, think of it this way. If somebody asked you, does your podcast beat out a lot of podcasters in the world? Would you tell them, I'm good, but I'm not that level? Like, no, you're gonna sit there and sell to the crowd like, hey, I give my all into these podcasts.
Yeah.
So you obviously are not gonna sit here and say, oh, I mean, we've been out longer, we've done this. I mean, if we think about it, WWE, I mean, they want the title that they do everything first. But it's like a show, a movie, or something like that. Marvel films, great example. Marvel films have been so overly produced so many times. It's just you have to get it in a bigger production audience. Like we've seen a Marvel movie probably produced by an independent movie star, but guess what? You're not going to really know of it until it's on a bigger platform, a bigger production size on, and puts way more money into it. Um, Honestly, yeah. I mean, Becky is not lying. I mean, I've watched. I mean, you know what? I get the heat all the time. Hey, why not? Let's do it again. Becky is not lying. I mean, she is promoting her company, which she is definitely supposed to, because she is supposed to be the anchor of this women's division. She is supposed to be the anchor of WWE for a long time. I mean, we compared Becky Lynch, the man character, to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and not a lot of people can be compared to that plateau. And I mean, her gimmick is why she's so damn over. Is she the best wrestler in the world? No, but she knows how to tell a story. She knows how to be on a microphone. She knows how to do so many different things. And when I look back at the women on AEW, all the women that are there now are the ones that were released by WWE. And honestly, Britt Baker's starting to be like Sammy Guevara to me. She is being a major hit or miss, and it's getting worse.
Yeah, I think Britt Baker is, she's getting pushed down a lot of people's throat how Sammy Guevara is. And one of my favorites, though, but she had got a whole lot of backlash when she became AEW Women's World Champion, was Nyla Rose, though. I like the Nyla, though, but
it's different. But people, the thing is, people are expecting everything now, 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 now. Like, would we be invested in Becky Lynch's character if the man was out literally when Becky went to the main roster? No, we would got bored with it and it was just like, hey, this was cool at first. It's like Bayley's character. Bayley as a babyface was great at the time, but you knew for a longevity standpoint, it was going to get completely boring. And it got very lackluster. Like Bayley even said it, I'm 30 something years old and I'm still wearing a ponytail. Like it's just not making any sense to be that hugger anymore. And Bayley now is one of the best heels on the planet. I mean, when the COVID happened, Bayley took off.
Oh yeah, she took off. Her and
you watched SmackDown just because of Bayley.
Yes, they did it. They killed it.
Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, like those the four horsewomen that we call it, those girls brought a different platform to women's wrestling. I mean, it gave WWE an option, looked at it and said, hey, we can carry this company. We can do this. Give us a shot and we will do it. And I mean, honestly, them getting that airtime actually helped wrestling as a whole, because now you got to see women wrestle men. You got to see women main event independent shows. Tony Khan tried to take the catering of when they did a hardcore match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, which I thought Thunder Rosa should have got her flowers more than Britt in that match, in my opinion, because my goodness, she had to put that girl over so hard. Like, good Lord. Yeah. But, I mean, you, of course, going to tell people that. I mean, anybody. Like, me being a Jaguar fan, somebody asks me, hey, how do you feel about this game this week? Regardless of my record, regardless of whatever, I'm going to say, I want the Jaguars to win. I don't care what record we have. I don't care, hey, we're on the verge of getting the number one draft pick. No, I'm tired of seeing my team lose. But as a fan, a loyal fan, you're going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to cheer for them. Regardless, I know that they're about to play. Let's have a laugh at it. They're about to play New England Patriots. We know the result. which Shiz has brought it out every time. But you saw how I sold it on the show. It's like, you know what? We're gonna go kick y'all's ass. We're gonna come and beat y'all. Like, I'm not gonna invest and be like, oh, Jaguars do their same old shit, different day type thing. You don't get invested into it because you're already just sitting there like, all right, this is what the result's gonna be. So with Becky saying that, I mean, that's just a normal response in my opinion.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the women in Impact right now are taking off.
Yeah, man. They are. They are. Hey, real fast. Like you said, man, that right. Like if somebody asks me, yo, man, how you think about your podcast versus someone else? Yeah, you gonna obviously say, man, mine's better. Mine's is this, XYZ. So I definitely get what you're saying. But I feel as though AEW with them doing the whole On Heart Women's tournament, I think that is also to bring in more women and hopefully build up a women's division. But you just mentioned Impact. They definitely killing it. Shout out to Josh Alexander. He's the new Impact World's champion. And
That
seeing the
match with him
new
at Moose.
champions. Yes, that was storytelling right there all the way. I definitely liked it. And I definitely like how it wasn't the past pay-per-view, but the pay-per-view that Moose came in and stole the title away from Josh Alexander, and now Josh Alexander faced them. And not only that, he had his little son there. That was dope. I thought that was real cool. So
That was a storytelling aspect. Like, you
yes.
remember when we did the episode where you were so pissed off. You, Shiz, everybody was so pissed off about Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
You remember that. How much more meaningful was that win with Bianca winning at WrestleMania against Becky because of that angle? You were only invested into that because you remember what happened from the beginning. That is why Moose and Josh Alexander's match really couldn't do any harm because you were so invested just in that storytelling, which I give Moose a lot of crap all the time, but man, I'm very happy to see what he's doing now. Like, I used to believe Moose is terrible on the mic, which he's getting a little bit better. I mean, he's still got some work to do, but his in-ring ability and his transformation that he has done to his character, you might see him on a bigger platform eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might. We might, man. But we're gonna move on here on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Two topics, man, we wanna chat about before we roll on out of here. AEW mentioned that they are teaming with New Japan Pro Wrestling to present the Forbidden Door. How you feel about that? That pay-per-view?
I mean, it's good for New Japan, but it's just Tony just saying, "Hey, I did it first."
Yeah.
Type scenario. You know that song? You know that song Ray J did about Kim Kardashian? I hit it first. Like, I feel like that's what Tony's doing, just to get another point on the card, basically.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Trying to one up Vince and be like, "Yo, man, I did it first, man," because obviously that's like everybody's dream thing to do. Whether you got 2K or whether you just fantasy booking in your mind, you want to see your favorite wrestlers from each promotion, whether that's Impact, NWA, whether that's an independent wrestling scene. You want to see them go square off against each other. So.
It's good for New Japan, though. Like I said, they're going to get to wrestle in the United States.
This was a topic, too, on Buzzing with Marlowe a couple of days ago. Will this help AEW to move on and hopefully get that extra maybe contract or so discovery? Yo, we can still be around. And I feel like this was Tony Khan's idea because all wrestling fans want to see this in a way.
It's,
or at least
it's kind of like how I see with my podcast, how like you see your podcast. Like for Wednesdays, you talk about normal lifestyles. You talk about people's occupations. Then when you come on Fridays, you talk about wrestling. We do so much as a whole to build a wider audience. Like sometimes that works miraculous, but also sometimes you kill your product because there's one certain topic that your fans get more invested in. I think, yes, right now, the Forbidden Door is going to be an over show. Like, literally, it's sold in Chicago. But here's the thing. If they did that show, say, like, in New York or say, like, in Tennessee or something like that, would that show go over as much? Because a lot of fans don't know those wrestlers from New Japan. A lot of these guys, they're going to watch great matches, but they're going to sit there and look at them. They don't know how to cheer for them because they don't know nothing about them. Like, you have to know your audience. So them booking it in Chicago was the smartest thing because it's legit a wrestling
Yeah,
fan base.
it is. I think they had a chance in New York because I believe Ring of Honor and New Japan did a show at Madison Square Garden
Hmm.
some years ago. So they had a small chance though, but I think WWE being the capital or
Yeah.
wrestling capital or whatever how you want to look
They
at it
got
of
the
New York,
garden. That's it right there.
they locked that
You
down.
made it in the garden. That's the Super Bowl right there to me.
Okay. All right. The brand split, man. Do you think it's time to end the brand split and unify all these titles, man? We got the WWE World Heavyweight
How many
Championship.
episodes that we covered that?
we got the WWE Championship and the Universal Champ with Roman Reigns, and we now seeing at WrestleMania Backlash RK Bro taking on the Usos, which I feel like the Usos will win, but something is telling me that RK Bro is going to win. Something is telling me RK Bro is going to win. That's where because we haven't seen that bloodline storyline that has been telling lately though. Ever since the Usos
Wow.
and Roman Reigns has been riding on a high, they kind of like been complacent in a way. And whether they've been winning and or whatnot, I feel like the group has just been complacent, and I feel like Roman Reigns
Hmm.
need to put some people back in place, and they've been falling out of line. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion,
I
though.
mean, it
But
needs to put a spotlight on somebody else.
yeah, definitely, because I like the story they were telling amongst one another, though. And
I mean, yes and no. Which honestly, I'm invested into RK Bro now. Like,
yeah,
you could tell Orton has a very creative mind when it comes to this. Like, Orton can still be his character, but still change it up and it not make him look weak or anything like that. It's looking at him like you could tell Randy is enjoying what he's doing with Riddle, which I mean, I don't know how many episodes I've sat here and said I don't like Riddle, but I'm actually getting invested in Riddle now. Like, Riddle has really changed his style. Like, Riddle used to just be an MMA guy that literally could try to do whatever he wanted to do. He's like, hey, I'm an MMA guy and I can be a wrestler too, and I'll out wrestle anybody in the world. He's not
hmm
worried about that now. He's worried about entertaining, and the dude's really changing things. I'm still not understanding the fingernail polish and toenail polish, but apparently that's the newest thing going on in the world, which you won't see me as a grown ass man wearing any of
I,
that
I
stuff.
haven't
But hey,
I haven't seen that. I've seen that more so into well, especially the fingernails. I've seen that more so in Jeff Hardy. I feel like that's kind of like a little rock thing. I don't know. Freestyle.
I
CM
always
Punk, I
thought it was
believe.
Like, I don't want no one to shun me, but I always thought that's people if you like to go to Hot Topic or something like that. Like,
Okay. All right. We got the tag team titles that's about to be unified. Do you think the women's title should be next?
um, so we got Bianca and Charlotte as the champs right now.
Yeah, Bianca
Um,
and Charlotte, as champs though. Can we see a unification match,
uh,
in the future?
I mean, no, I don't want it
No?
because it's good to have two different champions. Because, like we said, they still have a big roster, and it gives more people to view more talent as a brand split because it gives that option.
Yeah.
Now, with Roman as your champ, Roman can't do any harm. Like, honestly, we've looked at it. Like, people are really watching SmackDown because of Roman. People are watching Raw now because of Roman. Like, it's just these things. You got to know what works with the audience. If they unified the titles, I know for a fact 9 times out of 10 it'll probably be with Charlotte. Um, the matches with Bianca, I think they just need to get her more reps in with some talent to really get her repertoire back up. I don't want her to be like an Ultimate Warrior one man hit off and it falls down faster than we can think. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the stories. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just we gotta keep those reps going.
Yeah.
Um, as a women's championship, I think it would be smart, but like I said, it's got to be the best time. It's got to be the timing. Um, I mean, when you look at girls, I'm really hoping if they would do that is when Bailey comes back.
Mm-hmm.
because Bailey could be that one person to carry both brands.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I think it's a good thing, but I feel like it's a good thing
It's like a
because
desperate move, honestly.
yeah, I could kind of like see that in a way though. But with them releasing so many people over the last 2 years, I don't feel like they have enough superstars to hold carry a roster, especially with Raw being 3 hours. We've seen a whole lot of superstars get recycled and more 24/7 TV time than you would like to see. But it's all cool and dandy though. It's all great. It's all great. But if we unify the titles, I'd say I would go with Bianca. Because Charlotte, man, she's the 13, 15, 16 time women's champion. Like she
I
got it
think
all.
she's
But
gonna beat Flair's record. I think she
yeah,
will.
yeah, she probably
I
will.
mean, honestly, I feel like Charlotte's better than Rick because I mean, this girl did not wrestle in the Indies. This girl came from WWE, which this might get her heat as well, is that she didn't wrestle all over the world like her dad. But Charlotte proved you don't have to be a legit fan of this to be a wrestler. And I mean, Charlotte learned from so many people. And I mean, honestly, has there really been a super bad match that Charlotte's ever been
Nah, I don't know. I don't know, man. She ain't been in some bad matches, but I mean, look here, like
She's
I
that
think
heel, bro. She's that heel. I don't see her ever being a babyface. It does not work for her.
she's a natural. She's a the only way it'll be a baby face if it's if it's a double turn. If it's the crowd turn on the
I
heel
think Bianca would be a hell of a heel. I remember when she was on NXT, like that shit got her completely over because I mean she literally looked untouchable.
Hey, I like to see. I would like to see, man. For real.
The attitude and stuff. I mean she's proven that she can be that person. And I mean obviously we got AEW trying to top it off with Jade Cargill, which in my opinion, I think WWE could make Jade look like a great wrestler, even though she ain't a great wrestler. Like, you just gotta know your moments and know your timing, and you gotta learn from it. That's the thing I will say. You gotta learn from your mistakes. If you knew that match wasn't as great, get your ass in that ring, bump your ass off, find ways to be more creative, to find a way to learn how to sell and stuff like that. And I remember I used to shit on Bianca when she first started on that because Bianca never wrestled in the Indies or anything like that. So you could tell she has put a lot of work into this. She's not just depending on this gimmick. She literally is invested into what she's doing. And I'm very proud of seeing what she's gotten so far build up, even though she feuded with Sonya Deville, which I'm still trying to figure out what that was meaningful of. I think it was just to get her another rep in. We'll see.
Yeah,
only
man.
time will tell.
Yeah, only time indeed will tell, man. For real, this was a dope one, man. As always, final thoughts, man. Before we head on out of here, I appreciate you, Warren Marlowe,
Absolutely,
for coming
bro.
on the show, man. For real, stepping in and chatting wrestling with me, man. For real, man. Before you go, tell everyone where they can catch you at, where they can tap in to your new episodes and everything, man. Whatever, floor is yours. Whatever you like to say.
Absolutely, bro. So my episode today at 5 p.m. Eastern time, you can watch it on our Facebook group at the Buzzing with Marlowe page, or like I said, the Facebook group Buzzing with Marlowe. You can tune in and catch those episodes on that. Or if you're a fan of Twitch, I know we got gamers out there. I'm getting more better with it. I'm streaming my episodes exactly the exact same time at 5 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch it on Twitch, like I said, on Facebook. You can also catch it on YouTube and on our Twitter account at the Buzzing with Marlowe page on Twitter, and the American Prodigy as well on Twitter. So check those out. The audio will be out on Saturday. So tune in. It's definitely a good chat. This week's episode, I'm joined with Jack Houston. He is the author of a book that he wrote about his experiences of being a nurse. Definitely interesting stories, I will definitely say. A lot of stuff you find out. You get a lot of major respect for people that literally put their lives on the line every single day, and it's just for a basic day at work. And I would definitely say tune in. It is going to be an interesting one. Also, guys, you see these red tank tops? I finally got some tank tops, man. I've been begging for them. You know, I got nice little shoulders and arms. Kind of want to show them off eventually. I mean, I live in Florida. I need to get a little bit of that color on. I mean, I can't blend in with this wall every time. So check it out on our bonfire shop. You type in the promo code BUZZ20, you get 10% off. Also, guys, last month of April for autism, I have a son that is on the autism spectrum. I'm a big supporter of it. Also, if you go on our Buzz shop as well and type in BUZZ15, you get 15% off for an autism awareness, and it goes towards a foundation for autism. So Dre, this has been absolute, man. I appreciate it. I'm sorry again that I had something else planned for you, but you know, since
Hey,
I
man.
struck out, I had to make the favor.
Hey.
Shiz, don't think we set you up for this one,
Yeah.
and I got you next week.
Yeah, man, for real, man. We did not set you up, man, for real. I appreciate that a lot, man. Definitely. Blackheart, man, definitely tune into Blackheart Podcast also tonight, man. Speaking of wrestling
The many
tonight,
faces of
man, for
Shiz.
real. So it's dope, man. Subscribe to Off the Top Rope Podcast, Buzzer with Marlowe Podcast. The commission will
And
be
our
back
commission,
here.
baby.
Yeah, the
And our
commission will be
commission.
back here
Episode
next Friday.
28.
28 here on Talk Pro Wrestling. So tune in, man. For real. We got a lot of stuff we're gonna chop it up with, man. For real. This was dope. Sit tight, Warren. We're gonna chat it up after this, but y'all already know what it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast, like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. And for the Talk Pro Wrestling side, if you're watching, listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts is at, make sure you tell a friend, subscribe, and also share the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. This was definitely a dope show, a dope one. We're going to be back at it next week, you guys. Episode 28 of Commission Talks. Blackheart will definitely be in the building. He probably going to have a whole lot to say about this one. And also, Warren Marlowe is going to be joining back in. Oh, man, for real. Enjoy you guys' weekend, man. This was definitely a dope one. All new episode of the 1130 podcast streaming this Wednesday only on YouTube, you guys. Yes, new episode streaming this Wednesday and each and every Wednesday after that only on YouTube, man. For real. This was a dope one. Warren Marlowe, man. We out, man. For real. This was a great one.
Yes, sir.
For myself,
Have a good one.
AKA Dre on Wheels, Warren Marlowe. Thanks, man. For real.